let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? You hit a setback, you make a mistake, or a big plan just completely unravels. It can really feel like you've hit a brick wall. But what if there was a roadmap, a clear guide to not just bounce back, but to actually use those moments to move forward even stronger than before? Well, today we're going to break down exactly that kind of framework, one that pulls its wisdom from some really powerful ancient ideas about resilience. You know, this image here, it just perfectly captures the whole idea. The journey of, well, anything, a project, a career, your life, it's never a straight line. It's full of these twists and turns. And the caption says it all. Mistakes are going to happen. That's a given. The real game changer, the one thing you actually have control over, is how you react. That's where all the power is. And that leads us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? When you're right in the middle of that frustration, feeling totally stuck, how do you, well, get unstuck? It's not some kind of magic trick. It's a process. It's a series of deliberate steps that can take you from feeling stalled out to actually getting your momentum back. So the first part of our roadmap is all about the internal stuff. Before you can start making moves on the outside, you've got to reorient yourself on the inside. We're calling this your inner compass. It's all about finding your footing again after you've taken a tumble. Everything, and I mean everything, kicks off with this single idea. It's a subtle shift, but it is so powerful. It's so easy to just fall into blaming yourself. I'm such an idiot. I always screw this up. Or it's just as easy to blame other people or the circumstances. But both of those are dead ends. The real first step forward is to just take responsibility for your part in it. And look at how clearly this lays out the two paths you can take. Blame, whether you aim it at yourself or someone else, it just leads to stagnation, criticism, and feeling totally powerless. But the second you switch over to responsibility, the whole dynamic changes. Suddenly, it leads to action, to learning, and to taking back your power, to actually do something about the situation. This piece of wisdom from the book of Proverbs it absolutely nails this human tendency, doesn't it? It's so tempting to look for someone or something else to blame for our own missteps. But raging against the world doesn't solve a thing. Owning your role, that's the only way to even begin to fix things. Okay, so once you've taken responsibility, you unlock the next step, learning. A mistake isn't just something to feel bad about. It's data. It's a lesson in disguise. The key is to really look at what went wrong and, just as important, decide how you're going to use that information so you don't make the exact same mistake again. Wow, I know the imagery in this proverb it's pretty graphic. And that's on purpose, because the point is that important. Repeating the same mistake over and over again is just a pointless cycle. Real progress, true growth, comes from breaking that cycle. And learning, that's the tool that shatters it. So once we've recalibrated our inner compass, the next phase is all about action. This part of the roadmap is about having the courage to actually start moving again, to take those first few really important steps on the path forward. After you fail at something, that fear of messing up again can be completely paralyzing. It can make you play it safe, hold you back from new opportunities, but growth just doesn't happen in the comfort zone. This step is all about being willing to take new, calculated risks, knowing they're absolutely essential for moving forward. And actually, there's a fascinating piece of wisdom about this, and it all revolves around one single number. And that number is 7. Now, on its own, it might not seem like much, but in this context, trust me, it represents a really powerful idea about what it means to be resilient. And there it is. This ancient proverb isn't about trying to avoid falling. It just assumes you will fall, maybe even a bunch of times. The focus isn't on how many times you fall, but on the absolute certainty that you will rise again. It totally reframes failure as just a normal part of the process, not the end of the story. All right, so if you are going to be out there taking new risks and accepting that, hey, you might fall down, you're going to need the right mindset to keep you going. Step 4 is all about making a conscious choice to see setbacks differently. They're not these giant, impassable roadblocks. They're just bumps in the road on the way to your goal. Everybody stumbles. Your response is what truly defines your journey. This is just such a powerful way to think about resilience. From a letter by the Apostle Paul. It completely acknowledges the pressure. You're hard-pressed, perplexed, struck down, but it absolutely refuses to accept defeat. You can be challenged without being crushed. You can be confused without giving in to despair. That right there is the very essence of a positive, durable attitude. Which brings us to our final and, you could argue, most important section of all. After we've reset our inner compass and found the courage to move, we get to the principle that brings it all home. This is about reaching the harvest, and it's fueled by one thing: good old-fashioned persistence. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. The single most important step is to simply keep going. All the other steps, taking responsibility, learning, taking risks, staying positive, they're all for nothing without the commitment to get back up and try again. Persistent effort is the engine that drives every bit of growth and ultimately success. And this just connects the action to the outcome so beautifully. The harvest, that success you're after, it isn't guaranteed on your first try or your second or even your seventh. It comes at the proper time. And the only condition, the one and only thing required to eventually get there, is that you just do not give up. So as we start to wrap this up, it's really important to see this roadmap not as some straight line you follow one time, but as a continuous cycle of growth. Let's look at how these steps actually feed into each other to create this powerful, self-reinforcing loop, what you could call an upward spiral. See how this works? It just flows. Taking responsibility gives you something to learn from. That learning gives you the insight to take smarter risks. Taking those risks requires a positive attitude to handle whatever happens. That positivity is what fuels your persistence. And when you persist at something new, you eventually come right back to step one, where you take responsibility for the next outcome. It's a non-stop cycle of getting better and better. If you take just one thing away from all this, let it be this mantra right here. This is the entire roadmap boiled down into one powerful commitment. It's a declaration of resilience, and it's a formula for making real progress. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Where are you right now? What's a challenge you might be facing? Looking at this roadmap we've just walked through, what's the very next step you can take? Because progress, real progress, always begins with that one single intentional step forward.